I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I was married to Jessica for about 3 years. We met in college, and honestly, I thought we had a good thing going. She was smart, beautiful, confident, at least. That's what I saw. I mean, she could be bitchy sometimes, but I figured that was just her personality. We had our ups and downs like any couple, but I never suspected that she'd actually cheat on me. The signs started quietly. She became more distant, which I brushed off at first. She'd go out with her friends more often, come home late, and I'd notice her phone buzz constantly, texts, calls, always from some guy she'd never mentioned. She'd get defensive if I asked about it, rolling her eyes, saying I was just paranoid or insecure. But I knew better. I just didn't want to believe she'd do something like that. Then things got worse. She started dressing a little more provocatively. Not that she needed to, she was already stunning. But she'd wear these tight dresses that hugged her curves just right. She'd go out late at night, claiming she was meeting her best friend, Amber, but I'd catch her sneaking a glance at her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. Little things, but they added up. Still, I told myself maybe I was overreacting. Maybe she was just trying to spice things up or was stressed from work. The real shocker came a week before our wedding. I was at work when I got a strange feeling. I don't know what exactly it was, just a gut instinct that something wasn't right. I decided to check her purse before she left for her bachelorette party. I know, invading privacy isn't ideal, but something in my gut told me I had to see. I opened her purse when she was in the shower, and that's when I saw it. Two hotel room keys, one with her name on it, the other with a name I didn't recognize, John, I think. My stomach dropped. Her purse was on the bed, and I stared at those keys like they were some kind of sick joke. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. My mind was racing. Who was John? Were they together? I couldn't believe it. I started to remember the late nights, the strange calls, the way she'd always get defensive when I asked where she was. The pieces clicked into place. The secretive texts, the late-night work meetings, the way she'd ignore my calls or lie about where she was, all of it. I didn't know what to do. My first instinct was to confront her right then, throw the keys at her, scream, demand answers, but I knew that wouldn't fix anything. Instead, I took the keys and kept them in my pocket. I needed time to think, to process what I'd just found. But the worst part, I knew this wasn't just some one-time thing. No, this was deeper. Jessica had been lying to me for months, maybe longer. I was left standing there, heart pounding, realizing that the woman I loved, the woman I was about to marry, I didn't really know her at all. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything I'd discovered. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and honestly devastated. How could she do this? How deep did her lies go? Was she planning to leave me for John, or was this just some stupid fling? I didn't have any answers. All I knew was that my world was falling apart, and I had no idea how to fix it or if I even wanted to anymore. The morning after I found those hotel room keys, I knew I had to confront her. I mean, what else was I supposed to do? Ignoring it wouldn't make it go away, and honestly, I was starting to feel like I was losing my mind. I didn't sleep at all that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, that stupid smirk she always gives when she's lying. I was furious, but there was also this huge wave of sadness washing over me. Betrayal like this cuts deep, especially when it's someone you trusted with everything. I decided I'd wait until she got back from her bachelorette party. I wanted her to come home, face me sober, and then we could talk. I didn't want her to slip away after an argument or during her drunken haze. When she finally walked through the door that evening, her eyes flicked over me, and I could see the moment she realized I wasn't smiling. She immediately started her usual bitchy attitude, trying to brush past me and act like everything was fine, but I wasn't having it. "Jessica," I said, voice tense, "we need to talk." She rolled her eyes, threw her bag onto the couch, and leaned back. "What now, Mike? I've had a long day. Can it wait?" "No," I said, holding up the keys. "It can't wait. Who is John?" Her face froze for a second, then she scoffed sharply. "John? What the hell are you talking about?" I pulled out the keys and tossed them on the table between us. "Those keys. Found them in your purse. You know what they are. Who is he, Jess?" She looked at the keys, then back at me with that irritating smirk. "Oh, those are just hotel keys from a business trip. You're reading into it too much." "Bullshit," I snapped. You've been lying to me for months, Jess. How long has this been going on? Are you sleeping with him? Her eyes narrowed. You're crazy. I've been working late, that's all. You're just paranoid because you're stressed about the wedding. Maybe you're the one sneaking around, huh? I clenched my fists. Don't play stupid. I saw the hotel keys, the late nights, the secret calls. You've been cheating on me, haven't you? Her tone shifted. Now she was bitchy and defiant, like she was trying to brush it off. You don't know what you're talking about. I've been busy, that's all. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Stop accusing me, Mike. You're just insecure. If you think I'd cheat on you, maybe you're the one with the problem. I couldn't believe her lies, her attitude, her refusal to see what was obvious. The worst part was the way she acted, like I was the one who was crazy. I felt my stomach turn, a mixture of anger and heartbreak. I wanted to scream at her, to shake her and demand the truth, but I held back. I knew this was just the beginning of something much worse. While she kept talking, trying to gaslight me, I thought about her personality, how she was bitchy, manipulative, always quick to turn things around on me. Somehow, I'd been so blinded by love that I missed all the red flags. Now I saw them clearly. Jessica was lying. She was cheating. And she thought she could get away with it because she's Jessica, the bitchy wife who always had a comeback. But I wasn't going to let her slide this time. Not after finding those keys. Not after feeling like my entire world was crashing down around me. I told her I needed time to think, and she scoffed again, calling me insecure and a jealous bastard. But I didn't care. Deep down, I knew I had to figure out what I wanted, whether to fight for her or finally walk away. I was devastated, yes, but also pissed. How could she betray me like this? How deep did her lies go? I was starting to realize that trust, once broken, doesn't come back easily. And right now, I was feeling like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, ready to fall. Over the next few days, everything felt like a blur. I'd go to work, come home, and sit in this hellish loop of thinking. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, that sneer she had when she lied, those hotel keys, the way she dismissed everything like it was no big deal. It was. Like I was living in some nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I kept asking myself how I missed all the signs, how I was so blind to the fact that she'd been playing me for months. I knew I had to gather more evidence. I couldn't confront her again without proof. She'd deny, lie, and twist everything around, just like she always did. So I started watching her more carefully. I kept her phone, checked her social media. I even followed her on some of her secret outings just to see what she was really up to. It was sick, I know, but I was desperate to understand the scope of her lies. One night I followed her to a different hotel. She was there with John. I parked a few blocks away, hidden behind a row of trees, and watched her go into the room. She was wearing that same tight dress, that bitchy smirk. My stomach twisted again. I felt like I was staring at a stranger, someone I used to love. The anger built up inside me. How could she do this? How could she cheat on me with my best man, someone I trusted? It was like I've been punched again, only this time in a place I didn't even know existed. I didn't go in, obviously. I just watched from a distance, feeling sick and betrayed all at once. Watching her through that window, I knew I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I had to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to storm in there, shout, and make her own up in front of everyone, but I knew that wouldn't help. I needed a plan. I needed to take control of this mess she'd put me in. The next morning, I sat in my apartment trying to piece everything together. I knew I couldn't keep going like this. Jessica was a bitch, always manipulative, always lying. She told me she loved me, that she wanted to marry me, but her actions told a different story. I felt stupid for trusting her, for thinking she was the woman I was supposed to spend my life with. She was a great liar, and honestly, I think she enjoyed the power she had over me. That realization stung worse than anything. The idea that she'd been playing me all along, right before the wedding, right under my nose. I decided I was done. Done with her lies, her games, her bullshit. I couldn't keep pretending she was innocent, not after everything I'd seen and felt. I wanted out, but I also wanted revenge. I needed her to know I wasn't some fool who'd get taken for a ride. I wanted her to feel what I was feeling: betrayal, anger, heartbreak, and maybe even a little humiliation. I wasn't just going to walk away quietly. No, I was planning to do something that would make her regret ever messing with me. That's how I knew I had to get more evidence, more control before I made my move. Otherwise, she'd just lie her way out of it again and I'd be left even more humiliated. So I kept watching. I kept gathering. I was done being the naive husband who trusted a bitch like Jessica. I was going to make sure she paid for what she did, one way or another. I spent the next few days plotting my next move, trying to stay calm even though inside I was raging. Every time I thought about Jessica and her lies, my blood boiled. I couldn't believe I'd been so blind. All those late nights, secret calls, her bitchy attitude, everything suddenly made sense. She'd been cheating on me with John, my best man. The guy I trusted more than anyone. How could I have been so stupid? How did I miss the signs? I kept replaying everything in my head, wondering how deep her lies went and what I was really getting into when I married her. One night I decided I'd had enough of just following her around. I needed proof, real proof, that I could use to confront her properly. I went through her closet, found some of her things, and secretly took some photos of her dress and her makeup. I also managed to sneak her phone while she was in the shower. I didn't want to look through it right then, at least not yet. I just wanted to have it ready for when I was ready to pull the trigger. I knew Jessica was manipulative and bitchy, but I had to be smart. I had to be careful. If I wanted to expose her, I needed irrefutable evidence. That same night, I hacked into her social media accounts. I'd learned enough to know her passwords. She always kept her phone with her, and I'd seen her typing in her passcode more than once. I found messages between her and John, some explicit, some just flirty texts. It was worse than I thought. They had a whole secret world. I saved everything. I knew I'd need it for the confrontation. I also reached out to a private investigator I knew from work, just to get some professional help. I didn't tell Jessica. I wanted to catch her completely off guard. If she thought I was just paranoid, she'd be more likely to slip up. The plan was to have proof, then confront her once and for all. I felt sick doing this, but I also felt a strange sense of justice. She had played me, lied to me, and cheated on me, all right before our wedding. That bitch deserved to be caught. Meanwhile, Jessica kept acting like everything was fine. She'd throw tantrums if I asked where she was, call me insecure or jealous, and accuse me of not trusting her. She'd lie with that bitchy smile, twisting every question back on me. I knew her game now. She was good at pretending, always had been. But I wasn't falling for her act anymore. Not after what I'd uncovered. I was getting ready to smash her world apart, and I couldn't wait to see her squirm. In my mind, I kept thinking about that day I got married, how happy I thought I was, how naive I'd been. Now I was just angry. Angry at her, angry at myself for not noticing sooner, and angry at John for stabbing me in the back. This betrayal had broken something inside me, and I knew I'd never see her the same way again. She was a liar, a manipulator, and now she was about to face the consequences of her actions. I was tired of playing nice. It was time to make her pay one way or another. The day I finally decided to confront Jessica, I felt a strange mix of relief and nausea. I had all the evidence I needed, her private messages, the photos I snapped, the hotel keys, everything I'd gathered over the past week. I knew I couldn't let her talk her way out of it this time. This wasn't some petty fight. This was betrayal on a level I never expected. I wanted her to understand how deeply. She fucked everything up. That evening I told her to sit down. She looked at me with that bitchy, dismissive attitude, like she still thought she could manipulate her way out of this. I pulled out the phone, the messages, and the photos and laid them all on the table. Her eyes widened, then narrowed as she realized I wasn't bluffing anymore. "You lied to me," I said, voice cold. "You cheated with John, didn't you?" Her smirk was gone. Instead, she looked angry, annoyed, like I was bothering her. "You're crazy, Mike. You're overthinking everything. Those messages are nothing. You're just paranoid. I never did anything with John." I shook my head, furious. "Don't lie, I saw everything. The hotel keys, your messages, the photos. You've been sneaking around behind my back for months. How long have you been lying to me?" She crossed her arms, trying to act defiant. "You're just jealous because I don't want to be stuck with a boring guy who doesn't satisfy me. You're insecure, Mike. That's why you're freaking out." I felt my blood boil. "Insecure? No, Jess, I trusted you, I loved you, And you, I paused, voice trembling with rage. You're nothing but a lying, manipulative bitch. I don't know what I ever saw in you. She threw her head back and laughed sarcastically. You're just mad because you got caught. Honestly, I was going to tell you eventually when I was good and ready, but you're so possessive, so insecure, you probably wouldn't have believed me anyway. That was the last straw. I stood up, my fists clenched. You know what? I don't want to hear your lies anymore. You've betrayed me, Jessica. Right before our wedding, you were planning to leave me for John. I can't even look at you right now. She looked furious. Fine, if you're so convinced, go ahead, but you're a jealous fool, Mike. You'll regret this. I didn't say a word. I just turned around and walked out. I knew I couldn't stay there anymore. My mind was racing, and I felt like I was about to explode with anger. I had all the proof I needed, and I was finally ready to end this nightmare. I couldn't trust her anymore. She'd shattered everything I believed about us. That night I stayed up late packing my essentials. I knew I had to get out of there before she could spin another lie. I wasn't going to be her pawn anymore. I had lost my trust, my respect, and almost my sanity. The betrayal was too deep. I made up my mind. I was leaving, and I was going to make sure she paid for what she did. I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it yet, but I knew I wouldn't walk away quietly. She'd regret ever messing with me, that much I was sure of. The next morning, I packed my bags with a heavy heart but a clear mind. I left her a note, short, blunt, and to the point. I told her I knew everything, that I was done being played, and that I was walking away for good. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of watching me beg or plead. She had already taken enough from me. I knew she'd try to deny it, spin some bullshit, but I didn't care anymore. The truth was out, and that was all that mattered. When I finally walked out that door, I felt like I was finally free from her manipulation, her lies, her bitchy attitude. It hurt like hell, but part of me felt relieved. I had been so blind, so trusting, and now I saw her for what she really was, a liar who used her charm and bitchiness to get what she wanted. I realized I'd been a fool to think she loved me, that she'd ever truly respect me. In the days that followed, I concentrated on rebuilding myself. I went to therapy, talked to friends, and started working on my own happiness again. It wasn't easy. There was a huge void where she used to be, but I knew I'd survive. I learned a lot about myself, how much I'd tolerated, how much I'd let her manipulate me, and how much I deserved better. Looking back, I'm honestly glad I found out when I did. No one deserves to be cheated on, especially not right before their wedding. It's a brutal lesson, but one I'll carry with me. Never ignore the red flags, trust your instincts, and never let someone treat you like they're doing you a favor by being with you. Jessica's lies may have broken my heart, but I refuse to let her define my future. I hope anyone reading this who might be going through something similar knows this. It hurts, it's messy, and it's unfair. But you can get through it. Trust your gut, gather your evidence, and don't be afraid to walk away from the bullshit. You're better than someone who treats you like an option or a fool. And someday, yeah, you'll find someone who truly respects and values you. For now, I'm just glad I'm finally out of that toxic mess.